Hola, friends. Welcome to the Medicine, Marriage, and Money YouTube channel, the only channel for physicians who want to achieve marital interdependence and financial freedom together. On this channel, you will learn how to show up as the best version of yourself so that you can love intentionally and build a more financially savvy relationship with your spouse. And I am your host, a physician mom, a doctor's wife, a Gottman leader, a certified life and marriage coach, Dr. Kate Mangona. Welcome. Bienvenidos. Okay, I am so glad you showed up and you're here today, Faryal. Dr. Michaud, thank you so much for having me. I know we're recording now live on Facebook on my page, but will soon be shared with your audience as well.
Yeah, thank you so much. I'm so excited. And as soon as I knew you were doing this is something that I feel very strongly about. And I said, let's actually put it in the physicians living intentionally, because I think the most intentional relationship you really can have is the one with your partner, which is an extension and a reflection of a relationship you have with you. So thank you for putting this summit together, and tell us all the things.
Yes. Okay. So there's going to be 16 to 18 speakers. We're finalizing them now, and it's going to be August 21st through 24th. So just less than 2 weeks away. And we're going to have about 4 to 5 speakers a day for 4 days. And we divided the days into the 3 archetypes we want to teach on. The 3 female archetypes that we feel really educated and to empower the other women physicians who come to the summit. And we're also going to have a day on obstacles. So the 3 archetypes we're going to talk about are the Maj, which is the magic of the relationship, the soul of the relationship, which is the day that Dr. Faryal is going to speak on. We're going to have the Muse, which is the inspiration, the one who inspires, who just leaves the fresh breath of air wherever she goes. And then there's the Siren. She's on fire. She's sensational, sexual, embraces her own sexual intimacy. And then there's going to be the day of the obstacles, where we talk about real life things like finances, in-laws, stress, work. And I've got somebody popping up in the corner. Go back to your desk, please. And so we're going to really highlight relationship experts from all areas of the world. We're going to have several physician life coaches, relationship coaches. You're going to be here an expert on palliative care and relationship coaching and in-laws. We're going to have experts on intimacy. We're going to have a few non-physician experts who have dedicated their life to studying femininity, embodiment, and just the whole the psychology of what goes on in your mind when you're in love, when you're not in love, when you're in between. So that's the premise. And we're hoping that everybody comes.
Yeah. It's so funny. As you're talking to me, I was like, well, I wonder who's the audience. And I feel like, what's fascinating, Kate, is that I don't even think you need to be in a relationship actively to benefit from this. Because I know in our mind says, well, this is about because it's relationship RX Summit. And you would think like, well, I'm not in a relationship. How's this for me? But the truth of it is, I think even if we can resolve our past relationships or our thoughts about our past relationships is super powerful, because this is something that weighs some people down. So you don't even have to be in an active relationship. So you don't even have to be in a relationship to benefit from this amazing resource and, dialogue that you're going to have with these amazing experts and truly people who wanted to get out of their comfort zone and just learn more about all of this. What do you think?
Absolutely. Like, I have friends who are in transitions. They're exiting long-time relationships they've been trying to exit for a while. and looking for something new, dating. And I am recommending everybody comes because guess what? We're all in a relationship with ourselves. We all could have a little bit more self-love, a little bit more self-compassion, a little bit more confidence, vulnerability with our own selves. And I feel like the deeper we go with that and work on that, it enhances your relationship then with your partner you eventually find, or maybe you have found, or you're with right now, or your future children, your past children, whatever it may be. And even your in-laws, even your friends, or sometimes work colleagues. I had an interview the other day where we talked about how can this soul-centered communication, one of our speakers has a whole talk on soul-centered communication, how you can use that at work and at home. And I mean, there's not a day you won't use these tools if you come to listen.
And in your experience, first of all, tell me what made you think, oh, this would be great to put together? Like, what was your inspiration to put this together? And then another thing I want to say is, what is your point audience? Like, obviously, I just kind of try to talk about how even you don't need to have a relationship. But if you think, you know what, Faryal, while this is good for all the people, this is the one person that I feel like could really get a lot out of this summit.
Yeah. Okay. So, you know, you and I have been on this journey together for like 3 years, right? When we first started delving into our first coaching course we ever did together and went through life coach school. And something you always told me from the very beginning was, Kate, coach yourself 10 years ago. Coach to yourself 10 years ago. And I kept like repeating that to myself. I'm like, yeah, 10 years ago. I'm like, well, I haven't been married for 10 years quite, almost. I have been in a relationship for 10 years with my lovely hubby. And so I kept thinking about that. And yeah, I am my ideal client, my customer, the person who I want to serve. And 10 years ago, or I would say maybe 5 years ago, I just wasn't exactly who I wanted to be. I was a little bit more bitter. I was a little bit more angry. I felt a little bit more stuck, resentful. Like, why do I have to carry the burden of all this? And I failed to put on the lens of my spouse and see how much he contributes, how much he had by contributing, how much more powerful we are together. And so really the ideal person who's in their relationship, they're working, whether they're a full-time or a part-time physician, it doesn't matter, because you're a full-time friend, you're a full-time wife, you're a full-time mom, and you have a lot of obligations at once. They say if you ever need to get anything done, you give it to a mom, because she's got 100 things to get done every single day. So, and if you feel like you're just not reaching your fullest potential, and that potential could be maybe an accomplishment, or maybe not. Maybe it could just be more joy in your day, more mindfulness in your day, and especially for you and your audience, more intentionality. Then this is for you, because we will go deep on how you bring back the magic in your relationship, starting with yourself, how you become your own muse and embrace your siren within you.
So beautiful. And I love that, because it's all about us. I feel like, that's something that's your message. And I love very, very much is like, owning our side of the story, owning our side of, like, when we're frustrated, like, I'm so frustrated that my husband does this and he does that, or he doesn't do this or he doesn't do that. I sort of feel like the very first opportunity, or the very first step to improving any situation, is having just a simple awareness.
Oh, yeah.
And non-judgmental awareness. Like, let me just watch my relationship with my husband from a 30,000 foot view and just remove myself from that. See what is going on. Because if we don't have awareness, we cannot change, first of all, anybody for sure, but we cannot change our relationship where we are completely having ownership in, if we have no awareness of what is going on.
Yeah.
And I don't think you can have awareness without having that 30,000, because you're so involved, you're so caught up in the quicksand of your emotions, you can't see it. So what I love about your idea of, let's just get out of our own bubble of this is who I am and this is what I want. And just, the muse and just look at all of it. Like, what is all of the aspects of me? And knowing that now what can I change? Knowing the awareness of what is my capabilities, where is my untapped resource or untapped thing that I'm so caught up in what I want to change, that what is my capability? And that's what I love. That's what I'm excited about this.
Yeah. It's not always just like changing yourself. Like a lot of people, when I started coaching, one of my friends was like, "Kate, you don't need to change anything about you. You're just fine the way you are." I'm like, no, yeah, it's about enhancing. It's about growing. It's about like, yes, of course, like we're all amazingly, perfectly imperfect, as the humans we are. But some of us, we want to grow more. We want just like that 5% more, that 10% happier. Mm-hmm. And I think, yeah, by being able to be aware, right? Because the first step is always just recognizing, what am I feeling today? Or what am I thinking today? And coming to it exactly like you said, with the non-judgmental lens. Of course, we're all going to have judgment, and then we're going to stop ourselves and then we're going to remind ourselves, oh, wait a second. Why do I think that? Okay, how can I approach this with more curiosity and less judgment, especially my most intimate partner? Yeah, all of it, Faryal. This is why you're so perfect for it.
I love this. I love this because I think that so much of our happiness is unknowingly, or I will rephrase this, so much of our lack of happiness or thinking that it would be better if somebody did something else. Like, oh my gosh, like how I felt in the beginning of my relationship with my husband when he had his socks balled up in the couch for the 1000th time. And I'm like, it costs you nothing to put this away. And then in my brain, I was like, he probably is doing this on purpose. Then you'll go crazy.
Yes,
then if that's the lowest hanging fruit, like all you have to do is that. So then like the whole shift of, well, if I'm not around, does he do it? And if the answer is yes, so he probably is not doing it to irk me. Mm-hmm. Like when you can remove the story from your emotion and just see it as it is. And I'm just putting the sock in the, couch as anything that could just really trigger you. And I think a lot of those, how can we really enjoy and really love someone? And I think you and I talked about this, that like looking around and seeing this is a sign of life.
Yeah.
Like if my husband was dead, which some of my clients have shared that they have lost their husband, they would not have a sock balled up in a couch. And I know that sounds morbid but from my line is like, can I celebrate who he is without being so ticked off at the balled up socks? Anything.
Yeah. No, that thought really served me this past week when we were on vacation in Michigan, because, we all get easily irritated. And I think I left my luggage like 3 hours away when we were road tripping through Michigan, and we realized we had to turn back around to go get the luggage. And we were already like in a super tight time crunch to get home, to sleep 6 hours to get on the plane the next day to come back home. And of course it was my fault. It wasn't my husband. So it's not like I could blame anybody else but me. But I mean, I could have turned it around and it could have been his fault, right? But here's the thing. To me, I was like, I've got all 3 kids are alive right now. My husband's alive. I'm alive. We're all healthy. Like it didn't even matter to me that the luggage had been left behind with all of our laptops and our medicines. I was like, it's going to be okay. Because a few days earlier, when we had lost my 4-year-old at the beach for 5 minutes, and thought she could be like actually in Lake Michigan and we would not even know it, I had a sheer panic attack for 5 minutes. Like, are you kidding me? Like, I can't find, you look down for 1 second to start cleaning up, and then you look up and she's gone. Now that is something, okay, to be upset, distraught over. But the luggage, no, the socks, the way me or he chews with mouth open or scratches, the scratchy areas. That's going to be okay. I will take that as a sign of life, Faryal.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's so funny. That's everything. That's like getting upset with your child not doing something. And this really actually resonates with me because I have 2 high school age girls. And so many ways I want them to be different. Like I was the kind of person that, when I was in high school, after high school, I was a dancer and I danced on the stage. And my older daughter goes to school where there are great opportunities for performance and she doesn't want to do any of it. And there's this deep desire. Like I was like, I wish I went to your high school. Like the opportunity for hula, the opportunity for like a lot of spiritual performances. Their opportunity just doing plays, theater, and all of that. And to me, like that desire for me to have a child different than who I actually have. And then just to pause and just love her for who she is.
Yep.
I cannot tell you. It's like, it's separating this imaginary suffering that you want someone to be different from what you really have. And I just can't tell you that the lightness that I feel, like shoulders down, like relaxed, like all tension gone, because I just celebrate the life of who she really is. And that goes like, again, with your spouse or your in-laws or whatever, is this really this desire for them to be different. And once you just let that go and just live life, let's celebration of the fact that they're here, they're breathing, they have a pulse.
Yes. Celebrate every single day. Find the little things to celebrate. I absolutely. Absolutely.
And, some people will tell you that that's such a low, they're like, well, that's like no expectation. Like I had a client tell me that if I didn't ask my husband to improve, like if I didn't, like, how would he improve? And it's amazing to me. And I'm like, you know what? I don't think anybody gets married to anybody wanting to be improved.
No. That is so funny. I have never thought of it like that. I mean, I feel like as the spouse, if you're the one into personal growth and improving, then you lead the way. Like you don't do it by convincing, you do it by modeling and not even in an active, like talk sort of way. Just like you lead, you live your life. They follow, they notice and they follow. And if it's been, let's say 90 days, like one of our speakers will bring up, and you feel like you're stuck in this rut and you have come to this new journey and it's been 90 days and they're not getting it or following it or changing, and you feel like you've put all in, then, we'll talk about that at the summit. Then maybe it's time to reevaluate. But I feel like it's really not about you changing anybody else. It's never been about that. It's right.
And here's what I want to tell you. There is a concept in Japanese that's called kaizen, which literally means continual improvement of oneself. So I'm not against, listen, we want to be happy with where we are. I am so grateful with my life as it is. I want nothing else this very moment than to be here present with you. It's the most important thing for me, right? Now, the concept of Kaizen is like, I always want to be in a state of the universe wants us to constantly evolve to a more complete and whole version of ourselves. So I'm not someone that says you shouldn't improve, but you certainly improve upon what's already perfect. But what I want to say is it's not the same thing as somebody else. Like, it's not my purpose to improve you or my husband or my children. I can't have that concept of improvement just for me.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely, Faryal. And I'm so excited for them to come and listen to all you have to say, especially because we talk about your influences as a palliative care doctor too, and how when you see patients at the very end of their life, and that's like a very, very special time period where they tell you what really matters in life,
So I want to ask you a couple of things. So tell me how people can sign up. So you already told me the dates. Tell me how people can sign up, and is there a limit? Like, let's say, I know it starts August 21st. So let's say how late can they jump in and sign up, and tell me about all the ways people can be involved.
Okay, so yes, they can sign up anytime between now. I actually I'll put the registration link below. You're going to have your particular unique registration link that you can share in your group. And you can sign up anytime now. It starts August 21st. If you want to sign up, I mean, if you're going to miss the first few days, that's okay. The videos will still be up for, I think, 24 to 48 hours, and then they'll fall down. If you want to buy the package, say you're out of town or on vacation, you're definitely not going to listen to it. You can just purchase all the videos in advance or whenever you've decided. And then we also have a VIP option too. So if you want to come to we're going to have a night of Q&A where the speakers who are interested will come and have Q&As with anybody in the VIP. We'll have 2 group coaching sessions with me and Lisa for the VIPs. And we'll also have a Voxer thread. So if you want to be Voxing us live during the event, we know I do sleep 8 hours and so does Lisa, but she's on Hawaii time like you. So we'll be up at different times. Then you totally have that option of Voxing us during the event. And I hope as many people as want feel like it'll be very available to sign up for the basic or the VIP option. Or say you just want to be like, I don't even know what this is about. Like, I've never heard of these people. This concept's kind of strange to me. What are these archetypes, the muse, the magi? Just come, because it's free. It's free to come. And the time, you're going to be investing some time, but that time's going to give back infinite in return. Like, you're going to learn something, use it, and apply it to the rest of your relationships.
Yeah. Is this just for women?
So it is. The premise is it is for the woman physician. However, because we are talking about these feminine qualities, the magi, the muse, and the siren, I think everybody can learn. Like, our whole lives have been filled with the learning about men, the patriarchy. We've got the men dominating the political scene, and most of every single CEO and hospital boards there seems to be more men than women still, right? We're living inside of it. You know what? I think it's time for men to start learning what we're learning about ourselves. That's totally okay. So if men want to come join in the conversation, I invite you. We are not a man-hating group. We embrace men. We embrace masculinity. We talk about how we all have masculine and feminine inside each one of us. One may be more dominant, but we do this so that it enhances the relationship between, if you are in a heteronormative relationship, the man and the woman. And if you are not, if you are in a lesbian relationship or a same-sex relationship, that is fine too, right? One of us tends to have a little bit more masculine and a little bit more feminine. So we are embracing of welcoming of anybody who wants to attend. And if you're not a physician, that's okay too. I identify and I feel like I draw on a lot of physicians because that's who I relate to. That's who I speak to. Not all of our speakers are. Mm-hmm. So you will learn no matter who you are, as long as your basic needs are met. If you're sleeping, if you're eating, if you're moving, come, right? Because once your basic needs are met, then you can grow.
Yeah. So here's what I just want to finish because I want to say this because I think it's very important. Every time I have coached a client about relationship, I hear her saying, I've changed my ways. I've changed the way I interact with my husband, but he hasn't. Like, it's almost like, can I bring him to be coached? So I think what I recommend people doing with something like this, and I do it myself, is that even if it's not for men, to watch it with your spouse, because right? Because I feel like invite that way of thinking, invite that, what if I'm looking at this a different way? And what are other ways to look at this? And so I appreciate you saying that, but I think like a lot of clients are like, okay, I now understand, like, let others be the way they are so you could be the way you are, but my husband doesn't do that now. So I think it's never my sharing, and you can share with us too, is like, I think it's helpful for all of us to hear this message. What do you think, Kim?
Absolutely. I actually love the part where you listen with your spouse. I feel like, and I coach couples too. I've coached several couples this year, and it really helps when they're together and they're in it together. And say one person's more invested, 70%, 80%, that's totally fine. It's like a phase. It's a season of life. And I do get what you're saying when a client's like, yeah, my husband's not on board with this, or my spouse is not on board with this. I've been, like, well, how long have you been doing it? Because there is this sweet spot that I feel like so many of us get when we begin our coaching journey, and we begin to be more aware of these things, and we begin to be educated about our psychology and brain neuroscience. And we're like, oh, that's why I do this. That's why they do this. This is why. And then we feel so enlightened, and we feel like we have all the answers. This happens like several months into it. And some people it's sooner and some people it's later. And then we'll be like, oh yeah, but they're still judgmental. They're still critical. And so because we feel like we don't, I want you to be aware of this and cautious of this. Mm-hmm. Your clients, my clients, like, this is a normal phase we go through, and we just have to keep going, keep accepting, keep allowing them to be on their journey when we're on ours, and allow them to have their own thoughts and feelings and judgments and like figure it out, right? Because even though we kind of know what we should and want to do, we still mess up. We're not machines. We're going to make mistakes. Yeah. And so it's very, very normal for somebody to say, yeah, I'm trying. They're not trying. Actually, they might be. Maybe we don't know the full story yet. Maybe they're still the beginning.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes, I love that. I love your, your curiosity. The maybe, that maybe space, right? Because our brain is so black and white. And the second that we can say, I am willing to be wrong about the way I look at my husband.
Yeah.
I'm willing to be wrong about how I jump into the, conclusion that if my husband is on his phone, it means he doesn't care about me or the kids.
Yes.
I'm willing to be wrong about that, right?
Yes.
I'm willing to be wrong about the fact that that means anything, because me too, when I'm tired, I scroll. Like, I think just that idea of separating our stories about how we see our spouse or partner or any relationship we're in that causes so much suffering and angst in us. I just can't thank you enough for putting this together as a service for all of us. I'm super excited.
Oh, well, I am super excited for you to be part of it. I'm super excited to come to your retreat in October and bring my husband this time, because last time I brought my mom and my aunt, which was amazing too. So I also want to put a plug in for your retreat too. Are you closed, or are you still taking people coming?
I have like 5 more spots.
Okay. So people can still come in October to your retreat in Hawaii. And so that's going to be amazing. Come to the summit in August 1st, though, in a couple of weeks first. Then we'll go to Hawaii in October.
Yes.
And yeah. We'll drop the links below. So watch for that. And I'll be sending emails out.
I'm so excited. And yes, I will have a recording of this, and I will send it to the email list of people who are with me. Because I think, in terms of living intentionally, I think getting a handle on your relationships and the anxiety we have and all the drama and the story we have in our brain, and any tool that can allow us to give ourselves a 30,000 foot view and just not be so caught up in the day-to-day things is so valuable. And I truly thank you for putting this together. I think any opportunity to learn more, when we remove ourselves from the expert angle that I know how it is. I know my husband. I know how I am. I know my relationship. I know what ticks me off. Like, I'm willing to be wrong about what I know already. So I think having people to come to your summit with an open mind and an open heart, that I don't know everything. I don't know my husband, and I'm willing to be wrong about everything I've known, and let me hear what these other people are saying.
Yeah, exactly.
So good. So good.
Amazing preview, Faryal. Thank you so much for coming to do this with me.
Yes. I'm very excited. And thank you so much. And you have the most wonderful day. Thanks for taking the time. And I was able to, as we're talking, I was able to feed this into the Physician Living Intentionally. So hopefully people have access to watch this. So yay.
Perfect. Okay.
Have a great day. Bye.
If you are finding the concepts I teach in these episodes useful and want more in-depth and personalized support for your relationship, consider this your invitation to join me in creating the most connected and intimate relationship with your spouse that you could dream of. Go to www.medicinemarriageandmoney.com right now and download my 18-page medical marriage survival guide and workbook at no cost to you. I also have a 6-day marriage challenge, which goes over the 6 predictors of divorce at no cost to you. These have been known to decrease fighting, rumination, and grudges between you and your loved one. If you want to take it a step farther, really enhance the joy and connection in the most intimate relationship in your life, sign up for my 8-week Making Marriage Work program today at medicinemarriageandmoney.com. Thanks for leaving us a stellar review, subscribing, and sharing with your friends on social media. You have the power to improve someone else's life and marriage simply by sharing this episode. Much love to you and your spouse. You're exactly where you need to be in this moment. Adios, my friends. The content of this episode is not intended to be a substitute for professional, medical, or financial advice. The opinions provided on this episode are those of myself or the invited guest alone. They do not represent the opinions of any particular institution. Always seek the advice of your physician or financial advisor with any questions you may have of a medical condition or financial plan. This is for your entertainment only.